afternoon, Norman. Thanks for joining us.
Coming up, Norman has a new mayor-elect today.
And today has many people scrambling because midnight is the deadline to get your taxes in the mail.
It's going to be turning cooler today. I'll give you the whole forecast during the weather.
And 2 top 25 teams do battle in college baseballs. I'll have details in sports.
News, weather, and sports
all headed your way right now on Norman Today.
Baseballs.
Zoom in.
Am I reading? Welcome to Norman Today. I'm Valerie Perrin.
And I'm Zane Watson. Norman has a new mayor today. Bob Thompson won the runoff election last night with 58% of the vote. Norman Today's Carrie Shockley visited the candidates' watch parties to talk with them.
Running advertising, we've been going, putting door to door and getting our message out with direct mail, telephone calls, visiting with people. The normal thing you do in a campaign.
Been walking doors and knocking on a lot of doors and visiting with citizens to find out what they're really interested in.
Danny McIntyre and Bob Thompson both have the same goal to win the Norman mayorship, but right now both candidates are separated by Main Street.
If we win, we will be the mayor of Norman. We will be very thankful to the citizens for their encouragement and for their faith in what we'll do for the city.
Okay.
Thompson learned about his win at his watch party at Interurban Restaurant Tuesday night. He won over McIntyre with 58% of the votes.
Obviously, you know, I hate that I put my family and my friends and everyone through such a grueling thing. I mean, we started back in January, so it's been a long, hard race. But, you know, I think my family grew closer from it.
McIntyre said even though he didn't win the election, he may still stay involved in city government.
You know, I've always enjoyed, being involved in city government. I don't know. We'll just wait and see.
Yeah.
Thompson will take Bill Nation's place as mayor in 2 weeks.
I'm just proud to be where I'm at. I'm proud of my supporters. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of this community. And this community is very special to me, and I want it to remain that way.
Some of the issues Thompson plans to deal with as mayor include the city budget and sanitation fees. Carrie Shockley, Norman Today.
Current Norman Mayor Bill Nation plans to run for Laura Boyd's seat in the Oklahoma legislature.
The Norman Homeless Shelter is in danger of closing. The City Council voted to set aside $25,000 for the East Main Place Homeless Shelter. The decision came after a debate to motion to allocate $137,000 in emergency funds to the shelter. The funds will allow the shelter to stay open until more money can be found. The month of April will be known as Ada Lois Scipio Fisher Month in Norman. In a City Council meeting yesterday, Mayor Bill Nations declared April to be named after the OU graduate who later became an attorney and civil rights advocate. She was denied admission to OU Law School in 1946 because of her race. 25 years later, she became a regent at the university. The Smithsonian Institution has also named Fisher as one of the 150 black women who have had the most impact on American history. The town of Waco is looking for a new city manager. Ron Wood, Norman's city manager, has been named as one of the 2 finalists for the position. Mayor Mike Morrison of Waco said he hopes the city council will make its decision this month and a new city manager will be in place by May.
If you are one of those last-minute tax filers, expect to stand in long lines at the post office today. Norman Today's Kelly McDonough asked residents of Norman why they waited until the last minute.
Today is one of the more dreaded days of the year, April 15th. It's the day all Americans race to the post office, stand in long lines, and hope for the best. It's income tax day.
This year I did them early, a day early.
And how do you feel about that?
Great, I'll go celebrate.
So there's no pressure?
Not now.
H&R Block and the Norman Post Office are doing all they can to accommodate last-minute tax filers.
To get it dated for the 15th. They'll be on the curb outside, plus we'll have the main window open till midnight.
We'll have 2 clerks outside, and we'll have 2 window clerks inside. So if you want to get out and come inside and make copies, we'll have someone here that can accommodate you with that.
Some people choose to do their own taxes, while others find it too difficult and rely on other companies.
Federal I don't have trouble with, but the state I do.
The government says it's supposed to be getting easier, but look at all these forms.
Do a good job of keeping records. If we've got good records to work from, we can usually do a pretty good tax return.
Try to get to the post office as early as possible, probably before we close at 5:30. If you can get here before 5:30, of course, we can get the mail out the same day. And if you get here afterward, we still can get the mail out, but it's going to be a rush to do so.
Post office employees say the earlier you get there, the better chances you have of avoiding the long lines. Kelly McDonough, Norman Today.
Post office employees say the post office will be open until 12:30 tonight. And state workers will get a pay raise, and active and retired employees will see an increase in pensions and benefits under a $105 million plan. Governor Frank Keating says he agrees that state employees need a salary increase and benefit increases. Members of the state retirement systems will receive cost of living allowances for 4 benefit packages totaling $46 million a year.
5 University of Oklahoma graduates are selected to and will receive honorary degrees May 9th from the university. They are Donnelly Shirley, who is the director of NASA's missions to Mars; Jimmy Lewis Franklin, an educator and historian known for his expertise on the American South and Black history; Mary Freites, founder and president of OU's Arts Institute; Harold G. Price, chairman of Harold's Clothing Stores; and Michael F. Price, Wall Street investor, and whom OU's College of Business is named after. The Geological Society of London will present a University of Oklahoma professor an international award. Kenneth Taylor has been invited to accept the Sue Tyler Friedman Medal for distinguished contributions to recording the history of geology. The award will be given at the Geological Society's Geoscience Conference Thursday at Keele University in England.
And right now, David Bush is in the Weather Center preparing his forecast. David, can we expect much more of this nice weather?
Well, a couple will be moving on through and give us a very slight chance of a thunderstorm, but that will be mainly to the east. Otherwise, temperatures will be cool enough today and for the next several days, so we'll have fair but cool weather. So I'll give you the whole forecast right after the break. Don't go away.
Heavens thunder when the nation calls. You can make a difference and be a part of it all. If you're able to pay the price, you can. Willing to sacrifice, you can. Adventure, helping, service in the Army National Guard, you can.
Find yourself in the Army National Guard, serving 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, and you'll find an extra paycheck, money for college, and all the adventure you can handle. It's a great way to serve your country and community. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
If you're ready to pass the test, you can. An American at your best, you can. Adventure, helping, service in the Army National Guard. In the Army National Guard, you can.
It's only a little motor oil.
What difference is one drop of paint gonna make?
This much fertilizer isn't gonna pollute anything.
You're looking at a sea of excuses, created drop by people like you and me. Our waters can be saved if each of us does their part. Drop by drop. If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Defense Council, the EPA, and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan.
My son Daku was riding a motorcycle when he was struck by a car. I had spoken to him previously about donating his organs, and it made it so much easier for me to make the decision. I knew that this is something that he wanted. I didn't have to feel guilty about making the decision, doing something that he may not have wanted. Every day I tell people, talk it over. You must let people know what you want.
David Bush joined us now. David, can we expect, these wonderful temperatures outside? Like yesterday it hit 82. Is that going to keep up?
Well, actually, there is a cold front coming through pretty much as we speak, so it's going to be bringing temperatures down today and for the next several days. Temperatures like tomorrow may not get much above 60 degrees, but it will be fair though, so it could be a lot worse. So let's take a look at the skies outside right now with the live shot, and you can see some clouds out there right now, and that's probably due to the cold front. That cold front will be moving on through later on. Well, actually, probably, I think it moved through already, actually, because the winds are already out of the north. And we may get a stray thunderstorm, but mainly the main threat will be to the east. And after that passes on through, temperatures will be cooling down. So currently, right now, though, the temperature is 60 degrees, warmed up by 1 degree from 59 this morning, with the relative humidity at 67%. The pressure is 29.67, and the winds are out of the north at 14 miles per hour. Well, normal high for this time of year is around 72 degrees. We'll get around that today, and our normal low is 49 degrees. Yesterday, it got up to 82 degrees. It was a warm day yesterday, and last night it dropped down to 59 degrees. That was pretty much this morning. A record temperature of 90 degrees. It's not going to get quite that warm today. That's a nice hot temperature. And a record low, you can still get below freezing this time of year. Record low of 30 degrees. Well, on the surface map, you could see the low pressure system. Yesterday, there was a dry line across Oklahoma, and that produced the heavy-duty thunderstorms down in the southwestern Oklahoma near Apache. And also some thunderstorms were formed up in southeastern part of Kansas. And in southeastern part of Kansas, some of those thunderstorms produced grapefruit-sized hail. That's big. Hopefully no damage occurred to any cars. But today, though, this cold front's going to be swinging on through, and there's a very slight chance of a thunderstorm across Norman. But the primary threat, though, will be east of I-35. So you'll probably see some cumulonimbus clouds as you look your way eastward. A low pressure system with some light snow up in the Rockies, but that shouldn't be affecting us. We'll be just getting some cooler weather for the next several days. So for the temperatures across the United States, you'll see contrasted temperatures already across Oklahoma due to the cold front. Still some 80s in the extreme southeastern part of Oklahoma, below McAllister, south of McAllister. 70s around our area, and then 60s as you work your way up into the Panhandle. Very hot down in the extreme south, temperatures in the 90s, and you see a big area of cold air up in the Rockies and the high plains, 30s and 40s, and that'll be the dominating factor in our temperatures for the next several days, mainly in the 60s for the next several days. So across the state, temperature-wise, temperatures today will be near 80 degrees in the extreme south, up to 78 degrees near Ardmore, 73 for Norman, and you can see the cold front, colder to the north and the west. By the time you work your way up into Guyman, temperatures won't be getting out of the 50s. And then for tonight across Oklahoma, it's going to get quite chilly, quite a bit cooler than last night. It'll be clear, so you get that radiational cooling as well. 47 for Norman. And look as you work your way up near Guyman, temperatures will be getting down into the 30s, so it's going to be chilly. So for today in Norman, today expect a high about 73 degrees and a very, very slight chance of a thunderstorm. It's going to be mainly to the east of I-35. And the winds were out of the west. Now they're more out of the north, though, because that cold front is pretty much passing on through. And then for tonight, temperature's going to be cooling up to 47 degrees, quite a bit cooler than last night. And the winds will be out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then for your next 5 days, you'll see the cool down from that cold front. Tomorrow it's going to be only about 60 degrees, quite a bit below normal. Same thing for Friday, about 61 degrees. For Saturday, maybe a little bit warmer, up to 65 degrees. And Sunday and Monday, maybe a slight chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm both days. 60 on Sunday and maybe up to 70 degrees on Monday. And the overnight lows look in the 40s all 5 days. So next 5 days is definitely going to be pretty chilly at night. So you'll don't be putting away those blankets just yet. So.
I like today and yesterday. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks, Dave.
Sure.
Coming up on Norman Today's Sports.
The Norman High School soccer teams put some streaks on the line. Terry Jones has the story next.
Stay with us.
what lies ahead, what you want to be. Hands need hands, a hand to reach.
Kids today need extra help to stay in school. Communities in Schools brings hands in need together with hands that can help.
Get ready!
Adventure training in the Army National Guard. When we move fast. When we train hard. If you're up to the challenge, we'll make it worth your while. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Welcome back. Terry Jones joins us with Norman Today Sports. So big baseball game last night.
Yeah, there was a big game in Norman last night. A couple of top 20 teams in action last night at Eldon Mitchell Park. At University of Oklahoma baseball games, Thunderstruck by AC/DC is played every time a Sooner hits a home run. Last night, the song of choice might have been "The Sky is Crying" by Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's because rain played trouble with the game. It was postponed 40 minutes, but after that delay, the game got started and a record crowd saw a terrific game. Over 3,500 were in attendance, one of the 5 biggest crowds in the history of Eldon Mitchell Park. After an ASU comeback, the game was knotted at 5-all in the 8th when reliever Chuck Crumpton walked Corey Hart, who had homered earlier in the contest. After a sac bunt by Willie Hill, Derek Wathen with 2 outs pulls a grounder to the right side. Sun Devil first baseman Dan Meyer comes up with it, but Wathen beats him to the bag. Corey Hart gambles at home and is out to kill the threat. Too bad because Casey Bookout was due up next. Still tied at 5, the crowd would see Bookout draw his 4th walk of the game to lead off the 9th. Chad Koschel pinch runs for Casey and advanced to second on a ground out by Valentino Pascucci. Then Brian Shackelford, who hit his 14th homer earlier, is intentionally walked. With 1 out, Jose Montenegro gets his chance and obliges to Arizona State as shortstop Michael Collins begins a 6-4-3 double play to send the game into extra innings. After Kyle Denny allows 2 hitters on base, reliever Paul McCurtain tries to put a fork in the Sun Devils' threat. With the bases loaded, Casey Myers shoots a flare into center field. Willie Hill on the run can't make the diving catch. ASU goes ahead 6-5. Then Dustin DeLuca chops this one to first base. Pascucci, who replaced Bookout, can't come up with the play. Another 2 runs cross the plate. Collins puts the finishing touches on a 5-run 10th inning to win this game 10-6 and claim a 2-1 edge in the season's series. The Norman High School soccer teams entered Tuesday night play with a couple of impressive streaks. The boys team was unbeaten in their last 9 games, and the girls were winners of 7 in a row. Both teams hoped to increase their streaks last night against the Yukon Millers. The boys hit the field first, and 1 goal from Scooter Trent was enough as the Tigers win 1-0. The boys will put their 10-match unbeaten streak on the line on Friday against Edmond Santa Fe. In the girls' game, it was all Ann Ramey for the Tigers. But here, Kim Brown gets the ball on the breakaway and takes out 2 Millers, but can't get the shot off. The Tigers would have plenty of chances all night. Sarah Arbuckle with the rebound and lots of time, but misses wide left. Here, Ann Ramey gets the ball, puts the laces to the leather for her 2nd goal of the game. She goes on to net all 3 goals as the Tigers win it 3-2. And after defeating the Rice Owls on Saturday, the OU men's tennis team traveled up I-35 to Stillwater on Tuesday for a little dose of bedlam with the Cowboys. And the news isn't good from the home of Eskimo Joe's. The Pokes get the broom out and sweep the Sooners 9-0. OSU wins all 6 singles matches and the 3 doubles matches. The Sooners will try and bounce back Friday when they take on Nebraska. Meanwhile, the OU women's team gets their chance at Oklahoma State this afternoon. It's a match that some members are looking forward to and others aren't sure exactly what bedlam is. That match is at 2 o'clock on the varsity courts in Norman. And basketball season may be over, but recruiting is in full swing. OU men's basketball head coach Kelvin Sampson announced the signing of 2 players to his squad. 6'2" guard J.R. Raymond from Mount Zion Christian Academy in Durham, North Carolina, and 6'4" Nolan Johnson from Kilgore Junior College announced they're attending OU. Raymond averaged 18 points and 6 assists last year and can play the point and shooting guard position. Johnson averaged 19 points and 4 rebounds at Kilgore. Sampson says he will take the place of Corey Brewer on the wing. So a big game last night in Norman. The Sooners came up short in their bid against Arizona State, but they'll bounce back okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, Terry.
No problem.
Thanks. Coming up next on Norman Today.
We'll tell you how Vice President Gore plans to improve U.S. air safety.
Stay with us.
This is who I am.
I am rich. I am poor. I am middle class. I am a boy.
I am a girl.
I am a girl. This is who I am.
This is who I am.
I
am from the city.
I am from the country. This is
who I am. I am. I know exactly what I want to do.
I know exactly who I want to be.
I have no idea.
No idea.
No idea what I want to do.
I have no idea
Who I want to be. This is who I am.
No matter who you are or where you're from, the United States Air Force may be the place for you to learn, to grow, and to be successful in life. We can help you. You can help us.
I have potential.
I have potential.
My future is unlimited.
I am somebody. I am somebody.
I am somebody.
How do you stop child abuse? Simple. Never let it start. Now there's a program that can help do just that. It's reaching new parents early on, teaching them how to cope with the stresses that lead to abuse. It's achieving unprecedented results. But we need your help. Imagine if we all pulled together what we could have. Call 1-800-CHILDREN today, because the more you help, the less they hurt.
This is not a drill.
Roger, have target in sight.
This is what we do.
Swimmer away.
Every day in the Coast Guard. Battling the elements to save lives is just one of the real missions we tackle.
Swimmer checking victim. Coming up.
Be part of the action in the Coast Guard. Call now, toll free.
Hi, welcome back to Norman Today. I'm Zane Watson.
And I'm Valerie Perrin. Vice President Al Gore announces a plan to improve U.S. air safety. It calls for rigorous engine inspections and enhanced ground warning systems to alert pilots who are flying too low. Government officials hope the changes will lower the number of serious accidents by 80% over the next 10 years. They say there is currently one major accident per 1 million flights, but as air traffic increases, that could add up to 7 crashes a year by 2010. A man from Paraguay was executed Tuesday night in Virginia despite requests by Secretary of State Madeleine Albright that the execution be blocked. Angel Briard was executed for the murder and attempted rape of a Virginia woman. Secretary of State Albright wanted the execution stopped because she said it would jeopardize the safety of Americans arrested in other countries.
The Grand Forks Herald, a newspaper with a circulation of 37,000, was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Public Service. A year ago, the small community of Grand Forks, Minnesota was ravaged by a flood. But the Grand Forks Herald never missed a day of publication and distributed free papers. The Pulitzer Prize is presented annually by Columbia University. An insurance group is calling for limits on the privileges of younger drivers. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety says more 16-year-old drivers are dying in car accidents even as traffic fatalities decline for older teenagers. The Insurance Institute says the fatalities are rising for 16-year-olds because more of them are driving at night and with friends in the car.
The next generation of the internet received a huge boost from 3 companies yesterday for over $500 million. The money will be used to form an ultra-fast data pipeline and some needed network equipment. The new internet will be so fast that even top experts aren't sure how it might be used. Quest Communications International offered use of its high-speed fiber optic network that runs from Los Angeles to New York. Cisco Systems and Northern Telecom are offering network equipment such as routers and switches. Northern Ireland's 2 major Protestant parties bitterly disagree about the landmark peace accord. The government of the Irish Republic freed 9 Irish Republican Army prisoners in a bid to boost support for the accord among the outlawed group's support. President Clinton discussed the prospect of visiting Northern Ireland, but emphasized that he would not consider the trip without the approval of the British and Irish prime ministers.
And coming up on our final segment of Norman Today,
the new millennium is over a year and a half away, but some people are already planning their celebration.
Stay with us. have no idea.
In the heavens thunder, when the nation calls, you can make a difference and be a part of it all. If you're able to pay the price, you can. Willing to sacrifice, you can. Adventure, helping, service in the Army National Guard, you can.
Find yourself in the Army National Guard, serving 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, and you'll find an extra paycheck, money for college, and all the adventure you can handle. It's a great way to serve your country and community. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
If you're ready to pass the test, you can. An American at your best, you can. Adventure, helping, service in the Army National Guard. In the Army National Guard, you can.
It's only a little motor oil.
What difference is one drop of paint going to make?
This much fertilizer isn't going to pollute anything.
You're looking at a sea of excuses, created drop by people like you and me. Our waters can be saved if each of us does their part. Drop by drop. If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Defense Council, the EPA, and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan.
My son Daku was riding a motorcycle when he was struck by a car. I had spoken to him previously about donating his organs, and it made it so much easier for me to make the decision. I knew that this is something that he wanted. I didn't have to feel guilty about making the decisions, doing something that he may not have wanted. Every day I tell people, talk it over. You must let people know what you want.
Welcome back. You may think it's too early to start planning for New Year's Eve, but champagne producers recommend you make plans now.
And they're talking about New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1999. But there may be a shortage of vintage bubbly to celebrate the new millennium.
A sparkling glass of champagne signals a celebration from birthdays to any days, calling for something special.
Champagne, which dates back to the 17th century when Dom Perignon is said to have invented it, is enjoying good times today because of the strong U.S. economy.
And producers predict an overwhelming demand for champagne on that very big New Year's when the world rings in the new millennium.
In fact, it's not champagne. The name can only be used to describe wines from the Champagne region of France. But California sparkling wines are enjoying record the best champagne we've had yet.
However, champagne cannot just be used for toasting. It can also be used in the kitchen, but it's recommended valuable vintage champagnes be saved to enjoy in a glass. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Adventure training in the Army National Guard. When we move fast. When we train hard. If you're up to the challenge, we'll make it worth your while. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
This is David.
Oh, hi.
This is what David's done. David went to college. Annapolis. David taught himself to play piano, the sax, even the bagpipes. Well, maybe not the bagpipes. David was NBA Rookie of the Year. He's also been to the Olympics twice. David even became a naval officer. David's sure done a lot. But you know one thing David's never done?
Drugs.
David doesn't do drugs. Maybe that's why he's done so much.